Welcome to the Black Gay History Channel. Please share this video and subscribe to this channel for more captivating content. By far, one of the most influential TV shows to depict black, gay, and trans people and their stories is Pose, which debuted in 2018 and kicked down so many doors for black LGBTQ representation in mainstream TV. Though I like to feature black, gay, and same-gender loving men on this channel, it cannot be understated how monumental Pose was for black trans sisters who have never had a mainstream TV show represent their lives in that way before. The truth is, black gay men have had some pretty pivotal characters in TV and movies like our favorite sitcoms Noah's Ark and the critical acclaim of Moonlight in 2016. Until Pose premiered, trans people, especially black trans women, had little to any roles on TV. But Pose proved that trans people's stories and trans actors could captivate audiences with their talent and unique perspectives. I also think Pose made important strides for promoting unity within the black LGBTQ community. For too long, black gay men have tried to detach themselves from other parts of the community for whatever reason, and this division is usually problematic and transphobic. But Pose brought black LGBTQ people together, particularly by representing the real fabric of what made up the house and ball community in 1980s New York. Black and brown LGBTQ people during that time period had successfully created a community where they could finally find family, when so many of the young LGBTQ people at the time were being disowned by their born families in the cold and hard streets of New York. Even today, LGBTQ people still battle with unstable living conditions if they aren't living in a supportive environment. House and ball culture not only gave LGBTQ Black, Latinx, and Asian people the space to celebrate one another, they could also earn cash prizes to help them simply thrive. In 1990, Paris is Burning would document this colorful world of cutting-edge fashion, dance, and queer culture, and make house and ball culture front-page news. Even today, Paris is Burning is considered one of the most important movies or documentaries about LGBTQ culture, and it's clear to anyone who's seen it that Pose takes direct inspiration from the stars of that groundbreaking documentary. Even for me at 18, seeing young black gay men who looked like me and talked like me in this documentary blew my mind. And after seeing Paris is Burning, so many things in my life seemed to make sense, like I wasn't alone. Pose bring those epic stories to life through the actor's theatrical portrayal and relatable storylines so many gay and trans people can relate to. In the first few episodes, we are introduced to the headstrong, independent, and fiercely talented Damon Richards, played by Ryan Jamal Swain, a young adolescent in suburban New York who gets kicked out of his home when his mother finds out he's gay. Apparently this story is pretty common because this is exactly what happened to me, so I've always resonated with Damon's character and personal struggles. Before long, we are introduced to Ricky, played by Dylan Burnside, another down on his luck young gay teen who immediately falls for Damon and his sweet personality. The both of them are incredible dancers and become leading members of the House Evangelista when they find their motherly love and friendship and new homes with their house mother, Blanca Evangelista. The House of Evangelista is a fictional house focused on throughout the series, and becomes a relatable group of heroes who form a new up-and-coming threat to the reigning House of Abundance in their cutthroat house mother, Electra. Damon and Ricky's relationship were the quintessential puppy love, first love, and heartbreak storyline so many of us in the gay community can relate to. Sometimes our first relationships can have an incredible impact on the way we view future relationships, especially when our own families may have disowned us or don't support our gay identities. Ricky and Damon battle infidelity and commitment, breakups and makeups, and even disputes about condoms and loyalty. A really powerful story arc in Pose is Ricky's HIV diagnosis. Though black gay men between the ages of 25 and 35 are one of the leading groups of people still affected by HIV, many in the media still may think of HIV as a white gay issue. Even in the late 80s and early 90s when this show was set, many black gay men were struggling under the weight of the AIDS epidemic, but many of these stories depicted in the newspapers and media only told the white gay storyline. Ricky, being a young and attractive black gay man learning to cope with his HIV diagnosis on screen, undoubtedly helped other young black gay men come to terms with their own HIV diagnosis in 2019. Though the medication we have now is incredibly more helpful, some of our fears and worries are still the same after all these years. Even though the judges are supposed to be fair and impartial when judging the ball categories and at events, I'm sure having background intel on the competitors can give one an idea of who deserves certain trophies more. Pray Tell, played by Billy Porter, would play the incredibly powerful master of ceremonies for all the ball proceedings and competitions, becoming the voice of ball community throughout the show's 3 seasons. Pray Tell would help orchestrate the ball events and competitions with a group of friends, all other older gay men who delighted in becoming community leaders and being able to host events for their gay and queer community. Though these characters are fictional, many other gay and trans women throughout New York are legendary in the real house and ball community for their ability to throw these events that brought out the best and brightest talent from New York to strut their stuff on the floor. Pray Tell was able to captivate audiences with his brilliant wit, love of all things glamorous, as well as his anguish and turmoil battling AIDS throughout the series. Like many other characters in Pose, Pray Tell battles with his place of upbringing and lack of acceptance from his family, as well as the crushing loneliness of losing countless lovers and friends to AIDS. Though we have lost so many to HIV and AIDS, Black gay men rarely have mourned and told these stories through the arts, not nearly as much as I think we could. Billy Porter's Pray Tell does an excellent job of conveying the anger and despair so many of us have felt being rejected by family and friends and coping with an illness we can't beat. The idea that AIDS took so many gay men out of the world in their prime is still something many, born after the era, can barely imagine. Seeing nearly a whole generation of men gone is a grief few can understand. Another very relatable storyline for so many of us is Pray Tell and Ricky's love story. So many Black gay men who have an age gap between them find themselves together, which can at times cause a lot of drama and judgment in our community. Yet many men have found long-lasting relationships in someone who isn't in their age group. So seeing this dynamic between these two important characters was for me a pleasant surprise. With Pose, Billy Porter would make history with his portrayal of Pray Tell, winning Best Lead Actor at the Primetime Emmy Awards, a feat never accomplished by a Black gay man. Porter's win not only showed the world our stories and heartbreaks are captivating and universal, but that we can also be our excellent gay selves while telling those same stories. Many Black gay men were dejected by their own friends and family for their gay sexualities and HIV statuses, and they could see themselves in Pray Tell and Billy Porter. Though Damon, Pray Tell, and Ricky were the 3 most visible Black gay characters on Pose, there were many other important gay men and storylines that were portrayed on Pose as well. Vogue god and legend and choreographer Deshaun Wesley plays Shadow Wintour throughout the show and choreographed many of the Vogue dance battles, bringing the iconic dance style that formed throughout that time period to the screen. I also really loved the Caddy Crew of the ball organizers played by Jack Mizrahi, Andre Ward, and J. Cameron Barnett. A group of gay men who helped organize the balls and were privy to all of the drama that went on throughout the house and ball community. Just like with every show or successful event, there has to be people behind the scenes who make sure everything goes accordingly. And at times, it's easy for us to just show up and enjoy these social events without even thinking about who's organizing these things and putting it all together. Pose was another great moment for Black LGBTQ people in TV, and the house and ball community deserved to be highlighted as such an important focal point in pop culture. The Black queer people of house and ball brought us some of the most popular lingo today, like shade, rating, and the tea, and the dance form of Vogue is now seen as one of the most popular dance forms out.